Hey everyone, welcome back. Let's get into the Monday, February 24th college basketball picks. I'm going to give you guys kind of my three best bets to get us through the start of the new week. Over the weekend, basically a 500 performance for me. Yesterday would have been very profitable if I left off the FAU Owls as they shot an abysmal 24% from free throw range. And that was one where we had a little slower start to that game, but in the other picks, we cashed with Drake, cashed with UCLA. Albeit these numbers are pretty darn close. The books and the odds makers have really got the numbers this time of year right where they need to be. So my strategy for that is we either fire in spots where I think that there's going to be maybe a higher price, but we hit that with volume and try to get that one done in terms of money line parlays, and or we can go down the road of just basically singling out 1 to 3 games and kind of reducing that volume to really pick and choose our shots. And I think that's kind of what we're going to deploy as we look to conclude the regular season, because now we get emotion, now we get farewells, and kind of that segue into the March Madness tournament where things start to change in terms of, I think, morale. And as people look forward, you get a lot of issues where teams are trying to get ready for their postseason conference play, all that stuff, or teams aren't going to be involved, so they kind of just wave the white flag. Okay, so let's get into the picks. The first game I do want to talk about as we get into it. And guys, if you are not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Join us here at TBM Sports. Smash the like, and also give me a follow on X. There's no link for that, but it's at the Bettor Mark. You can just do a quick search, the Bettor Mark on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and follow me on there because I do post things in more real time. Okay, but as we get into the outlier, we're going to look into the odds board. And first and foremost, we're going to go down the line with the favorite play of the day, which this number has risen quite frankly a lot. Okay, Southeast Louisiana. This is a very good cover team. Okay, 18-10 on the season, 12-5 in conference, laying 6.5. The money line has crept up a little bit. Now we are over $2. And as I look at this game in more entirety, this is something where you look into kind of the abysmal Northwestern State team that's going to be traveling in. This is a big spot for Southeast Louisiana. And like I said, guys, this is a team that does cover quite a bit. You look at them 16-9 on the season, albeit 19-7 ATS as well. And that's kind of where you look into Northwestern State, really struggling to score some points. We also see some sharper movement as we get a lot more of the handle is on Southeast Louisiana. And at home, I kind of like this one even more as the Southeast Louisiana 6-3 at home ATS. Okay, so it's going to be an interesting one if you are going to lay that 6.5. Right now, that 6.5 is -105. I think that's clearly the side to be on. If you can find a flat 6 with some juice, I would be inclined to take that and not lay that -105. And that's kind of where I look into it. But we are going to kind of ride the Southeast Louisiana Lions here in this spot where I think winning 4 out of their last 5, 19-7 on, covering 5 out of their last 5 ATS, 19-7 on the season. I just think this is something where you look into the storyline, and just when it comes down to the, quite frankly, the offensive numbers is what really does attract me to Southeast Louisiana. At home, I think they get this job done and roll, possibly getting into double digits. Okay, so this will be an official play for me on the Monday card. Okay, next game, a little fishy though. North Carolina traveling on the road to take on the Florida State Seminoles. -2.5 for the Tar Heels. North Carolina's had some really strong play as of recent, taking care of business. Recently, we've seen them go against UVA winning 81-66, NC State 97-73, Syracuse 88-82. And this is something where this is a club that has not been a good cover team, 9-19 on the season. So a lot of people will look at the Florida State Seminoles and just instantly fade them. At home, 16-11 on the season, just kind of a team in the ACC. And then you get North Carolina as a short road price. This is kind of one of those spots where it's kind of my, it's kind of a spot where I'd more likely go on Florida State if I was going to bet this game. So taking the points with Florida State at home would probably be where my head would be at, albeit, North Carolina, better team, cheap price. what could go wrong, right? So that's why I'm staying away, but it would be considered, in my opinion, a sharper move towards taking Florida State in this spot, but we are going to stay away, okay? Food for thought, as we look into kind of some of the numbers here, you can see a lot of insights in these games as we get through the season. And, the teams that they are now in late February, you have to kind of take with a grain of salt, because these were teams that had way different storylines, rosters even, and lineups within injuries and whatever you want to call it, health status. It really does play a role where this is not the teams that we saw, back in 2024. So please keep that in mind as we look to cash some tickets here. But Florida State, for example, 12-5 in our last 17 games at home. So it does kind of raise my eyebrow a little bit if you do like the Seminoles against the Tar Heels. Okay. Next, we are going to get into a play where we do look down the board, and this will be a Big Ten matchup that everybody's kind of looking at. And Nebraska and Michigan, the reason why this one is attractive to most is because a lot of people have Michigan to go deep in the March Madness playoffs. Michigan comes in on the road where we've seen this number flip a little bit, opening up as a favorite, crossing that 0, and now Michigan is plus 1.5. So sharp move towards the Huskers. However, this is just a play where I can't get on any side but the Michigan Wolverines, as much as that pains me to say. So I am going to take Michigan in this spot. I think the game will be a lot closer. However, Nebraska 17-10 on the season. That's kind of like that whole Penn State narrative, as they won 72-80, lost 89-72 against Penn State. And if you look at Michigan, convincingly was able to take care of business against a lot of Big Ten opponents, and I just don't see it. I just truly don't. I have backed Nebraska in some interesting spots, and then some spots that just you wonder why you even looked at them. So this is going to be interesting. I don't think they're going to be able to handle the length of Michigan, and coming off of a loss. Okay, as Michigan looks to take home that regular season crown. I just think that there's something within the Wolverines here that they're going to want to put together a good performance before the end of the season wraps up, and I do like the Wolverines here. Okay, so that's kind of where you look into it. Good record across the board. I think they take care of business, and this is just a play on the back-to-back and kind of looking at the money and everything and seeing how that's flowing. It's kind of interesting because we have more of the money on Michigan, okay? More of the money is on Michigan, but that number has moved in favor of Nebraska. So that does give you some pause, okay? Nebraska's a favorite, but all the money's coming in on Michigan. So a little bit of a 3-point swing there on the number with a lot of money being shifted. So if you want to get sharp and you think this is a play, back to Nebraska Cornhuskers at home, plus 1.5, minus 120. So that's kind of where my head's at. And I do understand, yes, that's the sharp play. And if you want to bet that, fine. I just think that as fishy as it is, I still think there's some value taking the Wolverines where you could basically get them at a pick 'em at even money, okay? That's what I got. So that will be an official play. If we lose this one, I'm going to tip my cap to the Cornhuskers, but I'm not jumping on the backs of a 3-point move with a little bit of reverse movement there on the betting splits, okay? And then the last game, probably the marquee game that we are going to talk about, Houston and Texas Tech. Looking at this game, this is going to be a play for me in terms of, as much as Texas Tech may have one of the best home court advantages in college basketball, the Red Raiders come in 21-6, Houston 23-4, kind of relinquished a little bit of a lead over the weekend, and that's kind of where I look at this Houston game, guys. As much as I'd love to just grab that value and take the Cougars to win straight up, I think this is something where we look into the points. I am pretty sure this game will get above 130, so we're going to go over as an official play, Houston and Texas Tech. I think we get a little bit of back and forth, a little bit of a shootout there, and that way, if we do take it that way, if Texas Tech wins by 8 and they kind of run and gun a little bit and we see a big number, we don't have to worry about being on the side of Houston. It's not a cop-out way to do this, but I do think there is a very strong opportunity to back a Texas Tech Red Raiders team that has been pretty good to the over, and Houston is as well. Okay, so Houston, despite stout defense and what they bring to the table, they have been a very good team in terms of the number, and a lot of that does go towards the narrative. You think teams, boom, on the road, I should say, as of recent. On the season, 11, 15, and 1 in terms of the number. Texas Tech is a better team towards the over. But if you want to look at the betting trends within Houston on the road within the last, 10 games or so, they have been a very good team to the over. So that's what I got. Those will be my official plays. Just a quick recap. We are going to go over Texas Tech, Houston. We're going to be taking Southeast Louisiana, laying the points, and then obviously Michigan money line to try to get this week going in the green direction. So appreciate you guys. Good luck with your picks, and we'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.